Today is the final day of the Republican National Convention, and that means former President Donald Trump will give his much-anticipated speech.
Last night, his VP took center stage. Good Day's Robert Moses joins us in studio this morning with the latest on the race for the White House. Robert, good morning.
So, Shani and Dan, good morning to you. Tonight, Donald Trump promises a unifying speech in light of Saturday's assassination attempt. After the violence, calls for Joe Biden to drop out temporarily quieted, but they have now resumed and are growing louder. And in fact, CNN is reporting that former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told the president privately that polling shows he cannot beat Donald Trump, the former and perhaps future president.
I officially accept your nomination to be Vice President of the United States of America.
J.D. Vance, the 39-year-old senator from Ohio, capped day 3 of the Republican convention. In a campaign filled with questions about age, he highlighted his youth.
Joe Biden has been a politician in Washington for longer than I've been alive. For half a century, he's been the champion of every major policy initiative to make America weaker and poorer.
As Republicans continue to unite behind former President Donald Trump, Democrats remain divided over whether President Joe Biden should step aside. The Democratic National Committee announced yesterday that a virtual roll call to make his nomination official that could have started as soon as next week has been postponed until the first week of August, which gives Democrats more time to appeal to him to withdraw. He has been more receptive of late to hearing calls for him to bow out, according to the New York Times. The paper reports that over the last week, the two top Democrats in Congress, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, told him separately in private that members fear he will not win in November and will hurt House and Senate candidates. Complicating matters is the fact that yesterday the president tested positive for COVID, forcing him to cancel a speech in Las Vegas. As he boarded Air Force One maskless, he told reporters that he feels good. The White House says he is experiencing mild symptoms and will isolate at his beach house in Delaware. But the diagnosis will force him off the trail precisely when he must demonstrate that he's up for another term. An Associated Press NORC poll released yesterday shows that 65% of Democrats say he should withdraw and allow his party to select a different nominee. In a new interview with BET News, he left open the door a bit to bowing out.
If there has some medical condition that emerged, if the doctors came to me and said, you got this problem, that problem.
But the 81-year-old president continues to insist that his age is not a curse, but a blessing.
The only thing age brings is a little bit of wisdom. And I think I've demonstrated that I know how to get things done for the country, in spite of the fact they're told we couldn't get it done. But there's more to do.
Two Republican senators, Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee and John Barrasso of Wyoming, confronted Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle at the Republican convention yesterday over what they say were lapses that allowed the gunman Saturday to shoot at former President Trump. Cheadle has declined calls for her resignation, though this week she did say, quote, "The buck stops with me." The chair of the House Oversight Committee, James Comer, sent her a subpoena yesterday compelling her to testify on Monday, and indeed Comer says she has agreed to comply. Tashani?
Robert, thank you.